All right, good evening, Who That Nation. Welcome to the WDN Chatline podcast. It's the host CB, and that right there was a clip of St. Augustine's marching band performing during the festivities of Mardi Gras 2023. Before I get started, I want to wish everybody happy Mardi Gras 2023 to all the native New Orleans, to the state of Louisiana, to everyone across the country that has some form of ties to New Orleans. I will say I do have a personal tie to New Orleans. I'm not a native of New Orleans, but I am a diehard New Orleans Saints fan. I've been a diehard New Orleans Saints fan for the new listeners that may not know. I reiterated consistently that I've been a diehard New Orleans Saints fan since the age of 6 years old. Um, I had a cousin that was stationed at St. Charles, Lake Charles, excuse me, back in '96, and he was going to Saints games, getting free tickets, and I was down there watching the Saints since 1996. So that's where my journey with the New Orleans Saints began. So, with that being said, I have some form of ties to the great city of New Orleans, Mardi Gras. As we know, we've been through this COVID stretch really since 2018. Mardi Gras have been going on, but this year has definitely, you can see, far as with the crowds and everything else, it's getting back to where it normally is. So shout out once again to everyone that's participating down there. Hope you guys stay safe. Um, just have safe fun, man. Don't get into any trouble, and definitely stay out of harm's way. I've had 1 year down there celebrate Mardi Gras. I went in 2017, and that's crazy. That was the year before COVID actually hit. In my experience down there, man, I was a young 20. Let's see, I'm 31, 2023. I don't think I was 26 when I was down there for Mardi Gras. So that basically explains how my time was down there, man. It was just partying, sunrise to sunfall. I rarely got any sleep. As you guys know, New Orleans, um, y'all know how when it's party time down there, you really don't sleep. So that's how my experience was. And like I said, I hope the ones that's down there having a good time. Once again, shout out to Mardi Gras 2023. And that's it with that. But far as tonight, man, I just wanted to get on. I was supposed to get on last night going live, but I had some things to come up. As you guys know, life is going on. But yeah, I want to get on to talk about the recent news with this Derek Carr situation. This Derek Carr situation. The last time we was on, he was scheduled to have a visit with the Saints. So we hadn't been back on ever since. He had his visit with the Saints up until now. And if you guys look at the title, it got part one. Part one is non-live. And like I said, I got a long day tomorrow, so I wanted this to be live, but I couldn't, with time. And I'm really, taking time out of my sleep right now to just put this out so you guys can have something from the WDN Chatline podcast with our thoughts on this situation. Just a little mini thoughts. Part two, I'm gonna go deep, in depth with my full thoughts on this. Hopefully, I have WDN Uptown on because I would love to hear their side of things of this recent news with the Derek Carr situation. But anyway, I'm gonna just keep it like this. Far as the title, I'm a hit on that a little bit, but I just recently saw some news that he's scheduled to visit with the Jets. So that right there tells me after 2 days of being in New Orleans, visiting with the New Orleans Saints, this man is not 10 toes down sold on the New Orleans Saints. Now, I was watching, shout out to TJ Jones, man, diehard supporter, of his podcast. I was just watching him, and I believe one of the guys in the comment section had made a comment. I forgot exactly how it went down, but it was a situation where, you know, um, TJ had brought up, he said, why isn't it that when the Saints bring somebody in for a visit, they can't seem to sell these guys to joining the team, basically. We talking about Derek Carr definitely is not a big time free agent, but I'm gonna get into that in a few minutes. But basically, I'm gonna just stick on this right here about why we cannot, keep guys in the door when they come visit us. And he brought up a good point. Really, the last guy that came down to visit New Orleans, I'm talking about a good player, was Jarvis Bird. Other than that, I mean, you got the situation like a Demario Davis and guys like that. The Jets kind of, they really wasn't interested in bringing them back to my knowledge. It wasn't like, teams left and right were just coming to him trying to throw him the big bad. Not Demario Davis. And he wasn't the player that he is now. He was 100. I think he had 100 tackles in New York in that last season. But his level of play has definitely elevated since he became a Saint. But we talking about big guys you know, that's been in our locker room like Deshaun Watson. I'm talking about in our locker room visiting with the Saints, free agents coming down. Guys like Tyron and Jarvis, these guys is in the back end of their career. We're talking about prime guys. They're still in their prime. The Saints have not been able to get these guys to come down and to dedicate themselves to us. But anyway, with the Derek Carr news about him visiting the Jets, I just think the meeting didn't go as well as he would have liked. I believe it was a full detail meeting. I wrote down some things that I personally thought that was discussed during the meeting. I won't get into depth, but just a few things that I believe that was discussed when he was with the Saints was, will he be in a proven situation? Will he be in a proven situation to where he have to um, come down and prove himself worthy of being the franchise guy for the New Orleans Saints? I won't go into depth into that, but that's just one of the topics that I think that was discussed. Sort of like a Jameis type situation before, he got, screwed. But I'm talking about the situation where like a Jameis situation where it was like a prove it. He got to prove, that he can be the guy for the Saints. Another thing, was it about being the franchise guy? I mean, that kind of ties into what I was saying, um, that I just said about proving being the franchise guy. Another thing was a pay cut discussed. Was a pay cut discussed? I believe that was brought up. And another thing, I don't know if this was talked about in the meeting, but could the Saints have already did they know already know Derek Carr, excuse me. Did the Saints already know Derek Carr would not um be down for a trade? He waived his no trade clause. So they just got him in for the meeting. I believe the Saints knew Derek Carr was going to waive his no trade clause, but now he wasn't going to let that happen. He wasn't going to allow the Raiders to get anything. So I believe the Saints just threw something out there just in case. Um, just in case he hit the free agent mark and start going to other teams like the Jets, like he just done. So I believe the Saints were trying to get a head start, before he hit the market. But like I just said, they was unable to keep Derek Carr in the room and convince him to be a New Orleans Saints. Okay, let's just think about it. I mean, why do we have to explore other options? He had 2 days in New Orleans. They could have sold him. And like I just said, far as the part would be, it ain't about the Raiders not trading with the Saints. I believe the Raiders personally, not the Raiders, I believe Derek Carr personally did not want to give the Raiders anything, honestly. And the Saints could have been thinking like that too. They just put up something just in order to get a jump start, like I said. But like I said, we'll see what happens with the situation. But is Derek Carr worth north of 30 mil? And I'm trying not to get in the depth, man. I'm just trying to put a little snippet out here before we get in the deep discussion on part two. But I don't think Derek Carr is worth north of 30 mil. I don't think so. In my personal opinion, I believe the guy is maybe a little bit better than James. The only difference that I see between the two is he don't turn the ball over as much. But I mean, for us with Jameis, the last I seen of Jameis, and I'm talking about post since he was a New Orleans Saint, I seen Jameis go out here and play under Sean Payton before he got hurt. We seen Jameis numbers. I think it was 15-2, something like that. But he had some of the best numbers in the league. Then he tears ACL. He comes back. That Atlanta game last season, slow start offensively, but he lit it up in the fourth quarter. We seen that he was hurt going into Tampa. And that did he do himself a disservice by playing the Tampa game, especially the result of that? Absolutely. But my thing is with the Jameis situation, we really didn't get to see was Jameis an improved guy or not. So I really can't say that Derek Carr is just, head and shoulders better than Jameis or that much better than Jameis. And I'm just saying all this because what if Derek Carr goes to the Jets? What if Derek Carr goes to the Jets and then who do we have? I personally believe, I personally want us to draft a quarterback regardless. I really want Derek Carr to come in on a proof it deal. That's if they get Derek Carr. But I don't think Derek Carr will agree to a prove it deal. I don't want no long-term deal with Derek Carr. And like I said, I mean, if you look on social media, I know we've done this. We try to pump a guy up or boost his head up and stuff like that. Or acting like this guy's like, some of us is, just putting Derek Carr out there a little bit too much. But like I said on the last show, Darren Waller was hurt last year. But it was a time in the season where he had everybody, and nothing was getting done. Not to the standards that I expected. When you got a Devontae Adams, you got a Josh Jacobs in the backfield, that snapped last season. You got your other receiver. I forgot his name, Hunter Winfro. You got Darren Waller. Like I said, I know injuries was occurring and stuff, but he had enough to make things shake offensively. And honestly, I know he put up a good. I knew, you know, some of us bring up that game against us where, he couldn't even get his team 3 points against us. Yeah, I mean that I was bringing that up too, but then you gotta look at the Tom Brady game. So I just put it that our defense was just playing lights out. So I won't even throw that game against him, because we done the same thing to Tom Brady. And this is before Tom Brady. This was the year that he was playing. He still had the juice. He was still playing well. We held him to 0 points. So I won't even throw that in there. But I'm just like I said, I'm gonna save him. I'm saving my thoughts. I just don't think we need to pay this man 30 mil. And with me just getting the news that he's going to talk to the Jets, he's going to visit with the Jets, I believe that he's not fully sold or satisfied on what the Saints have told him. As far as from a team perspective, I believe that this will be the perfect situation for him. So I don't think this has nothing to do with team, because we have a hell of a defense. And then on the offensive side, the only thing that was holding us back was an explosive quarterback. And I know you got guys like Cam Jordan, pumping the guy up and stuff like that. I mean, you got some guys in the league, they have personal relationships and ties with guys. And I'm just keeping it all the way at band. This man is not worth 30 mil or more. And somebody might give him that. Somebody might give this man that. I hope we don't do that. I'm just being honest. But that's pretty much it. Like I said, I'm not trying to go too in depth with it. Um, do I want the team to pursue him? Oh, yes, yes, and no's. I mean, I'm kind of on the yes and no side. I do want them to pursue him, but I want it to be in a proven situation. Obviously, Jameis, um, he's most likely going to get released because of the way things panned out. So, if Derek Carr coming in, I wanted to be on a prove it deal, but the dilemma with the prove it deal is it's going to be probably a 2 year deal. A 2 year deal. I don't think we're going to pay this man 30 mil a season for 2 years. I don't think it's going to be that type of deal. And I don't think Derek Carr, this man was supposed to get owed 36.9 mil, fully guaranteed. And I know he's not about to take, 20 mil, 20 mil, 15 mil, not like around that. I don't think it's no way he doing that. But I just want us Saints fans not to, you know, make this guy putting this guy in the same class of a Pat Mahomes, making this guy out to be that he's really not. And like I said, I'm not downplaying Derek Carr at all. I've seen the good of Derek Carr and I've seen the bad of Derek Carr. Like I said, he's right above average. He's right above average, but I mean, is that good enough to be a New Orleans Saints quarterback? He's 31 and he's above average. I think he's reached his ceiling. I mean, I know, he pissed off how things ended with the Raiders. I know some of us brings Drew up and stuff like that. Drew was under 30 years old when he became a New Orleans Saint. He was already years in. We was getting a little bit of success with Drew. I know Drew had some turnover issues. I think one year he had 22 picks, but we were seeing some positives with Drew, even before we got the Super Bowl ring. But 31, I mean, you really that's 31 years old when we can just get a guy in the draft, bring a vet QB in, and I'm thinking, and I'm just being honest, the way things is looking at this point right now, Derek Carr going to visit the Jets. The only way the Jets will be out of this with Derek Carr, and it'll probably be other teams that Derek Carr go visit, but the scenario with the Jets, A-Rod is going to be the only dilemma with them. If A-Rod go to the if A-Rod don't go to the Jets, they're gonna be all in on Derek Carr. So if A-Rod wants to go to the Jets, Derek Carr won't be a Jet. So we see how that plans out. You know, well, as far as this QB situation, I just hope we don't overpay. Um, and like I said, as far as with the cap and stuff like that, I know Mickey. This is something that Mickey has been consistently extravagant at with this cap stuff. So I really ain't even gonna, bring that up against him because he know what he doing. But the thing I want to, I'm gonna say this and then I'm gonna get off. And I will say part two sometime. It'll be sometime this weekend. I don't want to set a time and then I got something coming up, but I'm gonna get with the fellas and we definitely gonna have a set time um that we're gonna get on. But I don't want to put it out right now. But anyway, yeah, this situation with Derek Carr, the only reason we're gonna be waiting and see with Derek Carr is because excuse me. The only reason that we're gonna be setting and waiting on Derek Carr is because free agency don't technically start until March the 9th. So Derek Carr got a little time before to at least verbally agree to go to a team, whatever team he chooses, and the team agree. But it's not official until March the 9th. The thing last season with the Deshaun Watson situation, Deshaun Watson is a multiple Pro Bowler. He's played at the MVP level. I'm talking about before last season. He came late in the season, so I ain't gonna really, you know, judge him off of that. But I'm talking about the Deshaun Watson and with the Texans, the MVP type seasons. Now that's something that's worth you throwing your whole bag at you sitting and waiting, wishing. I just hope the New Orleans Saints is not putting all their eggs in Derek Carr, and I hope they talking to these other vets. I mean, Jim, I just don't know what these guys' markets is, what they gonna be asking for. Jimmy Garoppolo, I don't know what this man's asking price gonna be. But my thing is, regardless, I'm drafting a QB in this draft, and any one of these guys that they pick up needs to be on a prove it deal, unless it's A-Rod or Lamar Jackson. And these guys, it's a great chance that we won't be getting either one of those guys. But when you talking about a Garoppolo or Derek Carr, these guys don't get that kind of treatment. A Deshaun Watson type treatment, or A-Rod type treatment. These guys need to be on a prove it deal. Show us that you gonna be the franchise guy. That's just how I see it. But that's it, Who That Nation, man. Once again, man, you guys please be sure to like, subscribe, and follow the page. And I apologize for not going live the other night. Like I said, I had something come up. But once again, man, shout out to everyone in the city of New Orleans. I know you guys are having a wonderful time. You guys enjoy, stay safe. And that'll wrap things up for tonight's part one to this Derek Carr situation. This is the WDN Chatline podcast. We're out. Who that?